Well, hello YouTube, back in the shop again. Gosh, same color. I must like these color shirts. I actually had a blue one on before I came here. Changed off. Different hat though today. A wise man once told me, you want to hear God laugh? Tell him your plans. So I know I was originally kind of holding out, thinking that I was gonna do all the Pro Seal on both elevators, right and left, and the trim tabs. But what I have this I called an audible. I said self. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and finish up the right elevator. Go ahead and get that Pro Seal, get that done, and then let that cook. And hopefully, because I was hoping the back spar would get here, but it's not here, and I don't want to delay. I got to keep moving. Got to keep moving this process because I've got to get this empennage done before the wings get here, because I got to get all this stuff boxed up and get it put in the storage and everything to make room for the wings. And the wings don't have word that they're coming, but I got a sinking suspicion that they're coming. They're going to be here, paid the deposits, all of that stuff. So, but regardless, we got to keep moving. I'm already 2 months behind. 2 months behind my anticipated project plan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get the right side elevator done and get that completed with the Pro Seal I have. I ordered another canister of Pro Seal, and the way that this stuff comes, I get it in the dispenser. So it comes in a dispenser. I did, so I'm going to use it. So for $19, I just ordered another dispenser for the other side is what I'm doing. So that will probably be here before, I'm anticipating that I have about a week's worth of work to get the left elevator riveted together anyways before I'm ready for the Pro Seal. So I'm hoping in that time, I don't know, fingers crossed. So that's what we're gonna do. Today I'm gonna go ahead and get the right side elevator and trim Pro Sealed and go ahead and get that ball rolling. We've been waiting around a lot. So we're gonna get that done today. So hang loose, you guys know the routine. This plane's definitely not gonna build itself and everything. Hopefully one day I'll do that and I'll show you a finished airplane. But yeah, right now it's not nowhere near. No, I can't even snap my fingers. I'm nowhere near that. So the routine, hang out, and then as I get to points where I think that you need to be a part of the conversation, I'll make sure I turn the video back on and include you. All right, YouTube. Today was one of those days where like I said, when I started the day out, you want to hear God laugh, tell him your plans. But I kind of knew that this was going to happen. Well, I forgot one major part. I have pieces meeting pieces, and where pieces make to pieces, you got to paint them. Got to prime them because the Corrosion X won't get into those pieces and everything. So I had to prep the trimmed the elevator trim pieces and stuff where they're going to come together. There's tape on there, so I'm only, once again, as you guys know, I only put primer down where parts come together, and so I have the piece there, and then of course the part there, the actual skin, and then of course the horns there, so the bottom's there. So what I did is I primed all those, got those ready to be, well, they got them primed. So I had to get them ready to be primed, and then I primed them. And so we'll have to let those dry. The other thing is I needed to take, if you guys remember when I did this skin, I actually primed along this edge. And so I had to take acetone and then clean that off because that's where the Pro Seal is going to connect. That way we have a good bond. I did test fit the wedges. They look great. and everything. But right now, what we're gonna do is just let things cook. I got all my dimpling done. I dimpled the under skin here so that we can use the flat. One of the secrets is if you know, how do you know what to dimple and what not to dimple? Because sometimes the instructions get real confusing. And what I typically do, or this is what I've learned now, is on every skin, there is a schedule, a rivet schedule. And what you can do is look at that rivet schedule, and that will tell you what needs to be dimpled. If it is a 426, that's a countersunk. A 470, and actually these are all 426s, but a 470 is a universal, so those don't get countersunk. So wherever you see a 426, you know that these have to be countersunk. You also know, or you will learn, that the surface underneath them either needs to be countersunk or needs to be dimpled as well. These need to be dimpled, not countersunk. You don't countersink skins. So, and depending upon the thickness of the material, which is 0.05, will determine if you can dimple it or if you have to countersink it. So let me go back. Skins get dimpled. Underneath spars and stuff possibly could either get countersunk or dimpled depending upon the thickness. But whenever you countersink or whenever you dimple something, you have to dimple or countersink, depending on the thickness, what you're going to do, the material underneath it. So that way everything lines up. And when I say lines up, if you guys can look, whenever you dimple something, you're pushing the material out. So you have to make sure, and in this case, these got countersunk because it's too thick. You can't dimple material that's thick. But what that does is so that way when you put this part on there, it will line up. And I'll kind of show you. Here. They will lay flat. Because if you didn't do that, if you didn't countersink or dimple the material underneath it, this protrudes just a little bit and it will cause it not to lay flat. You see that? So you have to, that's just the rule of thumb. Now, I was educated by a member of the group, and that's why I decided to redo the front spars. I countersunk all those. Now, Vans doesn't have a problem with me countersinking this because the material is thick enough. It's thick enough here. They didn't have a problem. But out of the fact that I deviated from the plans, and people are going to be watching the videos, and I don't want to get people into bad habits, right? But because there are some times where you can't countersink. If the material is too thin, you take off too much material and thus you make it weaker. So that's why we're waiting on another piece. But I did check with Vans and they didn't have a problem with me doing that and everything. And the only reason why I decided to go back to the plans and not deviate is because I don't want someone to do what I did. And then there's a caveat, and I followed the caveat. You can't widen these holes. There's a lot of different things that you have to do if you're going to countersink these. And I just don't want someone to follow my lead, not have the QA process that I have, and then cause problems down the road. So that's it. So, but that's where we're at with today's work. Like I said, I got everything prepped, painted, ready to go, and then what we'll do is come back tomorrow and hopefully we'll get this elevator trim tab assembled and put together. And we're gonna have to wait 2 to 3 days as we pro seal the edges, because we have these little wedges that go inside on the inside in here on the elevator, and then we have smaller wedges here. These little guys, 3 of these go inside here to stiffen it up, and they got to be pro sealed. And then of course we have the trailing edge that at that point will be put back together and pro sealed as well. So we've got a lot of sub-assembly to do to get ready for the final assembly of this piece. And then what I'm hoping, or what the game plan is, hopefully while this is sitting on the bench cooking, because it takes two to 3 days depending on the weather, for that pro seal to set up, I can, we'll be waiting for the other part, or for the other replacement spar to show up. And then I'll still, when that gets here, I still have to dimple, and I still have to do some countersinking. You do have to countersink along these edges, not all the way through, but on this side here, I have to countersink. And then I have to prime and paint. And that usually takes about 2 days, right? So yeah, we still got plenty of work ahead of us on this portion. We got plenty of work ahead of us, period. But on this portion, definitely got work ahead of us. And so I figured I might as well go ahead and jump in and at least get this off the bench and get it ready for the left side. Yep, for the left side. All right, so that's about it for today. I just want to say thanks for joining me, and you guys know the routine. Be safe, do the right thing, and God bless you guys.